In 1990, a hairdresser walked onto a British TV show, smeared a thin layer of homemade paste over a raw egg, and aimed a blowtorch directly at it. Not for a second, for 5 minutes, a flame hot enough to melt aluminum. Then he picked the egg up with his bare hand, cracked it open, and it was still raw, still cold. That material could supposedly survive heat that would vaporize steel. The man never sold it. He never wrote the formula down for anyone outside his family, and in 2011, he took it to his grave. We have never been able to make it again. We like to believe technology only moves in one direction: forward. That anything our ancestors built, we could obviously build better today. But that's not always true. There are things humans have made, like in some thousands of years old, one lost in your lifetime, that we genuinely cannot recreate. Not because we're not smart enough, because the knowledge itself is gone. We'll come back to that egg, I promise. But first, let's go back 2,000 years to a material we've been trying to copy for 20 centuries. This is the Pantheon in Rome. Its dome is still the largest unreinforced concrete dome on Earth, and it stood for nearly 1,900 years. Now compare that to modern concrete. The stuff we pour today, it starts cracking in 50 years. Highway bridges, parking garages, they're crumbling around us constantly. But here's the part that broke scientists' brains for centuries. Roman concrete piers sitting in seawater don't just survive. They get stronger over time. Salt water should destroy concrete. Instead, it was healing it. For generations, we had the ruins, but not the recipe. We could see what they built. We just couldn't figure out how. The breakthrough came recently. Researchers spotted tiny white chunks in the concrete. Little lumps of lime everyone had assumed were just sloppy mixing. They weren't a mistake. They were the secret. The Romans mixed their concrete hot using quicklime. Those lime lumps act like a built-in repair kit. When a crack forms and water seeps in, the lime reactivates, dissolves, and recrystallizes, sealing the crack on its own. Self-healing concrete. 2,000 years before we invented the term. And the wild thing? Even now, knowing this, we still can't fully reproduce its longevity. We're closer than we've ever been. But we're essentially reverse engineering a recipe the Romans just knew and forgot to leave us. Concrete is impressive, but our next one isn't just lost. It might have depended on something that no longer exists on Earth. Damascus steel. Look at the surface. Those flowing, watery patterns aren't etched on. They're inside the metal. For nearly 1,000 years, blades made from this steel were legendary. Crusaders came home with stories of swords that could slice through a falling silk scarf and then cut clean through another blade without chipping. Sharp, but somehow not brittle. That combination shouldn't be easy. The secret started with the raw material, a special steel called woots, made from ore mined in a specific region of South Asia, then forged using techniques passed down for centuries. And then, sometime in the 1700s, it just stopped. The smiths who knew the process died out. The recipe was never properly written down. Damascus steel vanished. Centuries later, scientists put an authentic Damascus blade under an electron microscope and found something that should have been impossible for the era: carbon nanotubes. Nanoscale wires of incredibly hard material woven through the steel. The leading theory? Trace elements, like vanadium, in that one specific ore combined with a precise heating and cooling cycle, created these structures by accident. The Smiths had no idea about nanotechnology. They just followed a recipe that worked. But that particular ore source was eventually mined out, so even with the theory, we may be missing a key ingredient that simply isn't available anymore. We can make beautiful steel that looks like Damascus today. We can't reliably make the real thing. Now, a lost recipe is one thing when nobody's trying to hide it. Our next one was a deliberate secret. A weapon so feared that an empire guarded its formula for 400 years. The Byzantine Empire, around the 7th century. Enemy fleets are closing in, and then the Byzantine ships do something that looks like magic. They spray a stream of fire across the water, and the fire keeps burning on the surface of the sea. Water didn't put it out. Some accounts say water made it worse. They called it Greek fire, and it saved Constantinople more than once, turning entire invading fleets into ash. Here's what makes it a perfect mystery. The recipe was a state secret. Knowledge of it was restricted to the emperor and a single family of engineers. It was so tightly controlled that eventually the people who knew it died without passing it on. The empire kept the secret so well. They kept it from history itself. Today we can only guess. Maybe it was petroleum-based, mixed with resins and other compounds, possibly with quicklime to react with water. We can build modern incendiaries that do similar things. But the exact formula, what made it cling, float, and reignite the way the sources describe, that's gone, lost on purpose. Now you might be thinking, do we ever solve these? Sometimes, yes. Like the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old corroded lump of bronze that turned out to be an analog computer for predicting eclipses and planetary positions. For decades, it was a total enigma. Then, with modern scanning, we cracked it. Proof that some lost knowledge can be recovered. Which makes the last one on this list so frustrating. Because it isn't ancient, it isn't worn down by time. It was lost recently. And we still can't get it back. Remember that egg? The man holding the blowtorch was named Maurice Ward. By trade, a hairdresser. An amateur inventor with no formal chemistry background. And in his kitchen, mixing things by hand, he claimed to have created a material he called starlight. On live television, he coated an egg, hit it with a flame for minutes, and the egg stayed cool enough to hold. He claimed starlight could withstand temperatures of thousands of degrees, even by some accounts the flash of a nuclear blast, while staying cool on the other side. The world's biggest organizations took notice. Defense labs, aerospace researchers. They reportedly ran tests and were stunned by the results. But Maurice Ward had one rule. He would never reveal the formula. He refused to patent it because a patent means publishing how it works. And he was terrified someone would steal it or reverse engineer it from a sample. So he kept the recipe almost entirely in his own head, sharing pieces only with his family. And every deal fell apart. He wanted control. They wanted the formula. Neither side would budge. Then, in 2011, Maurice Ward died. The complete formula was never properly documented. Despite all our modern chemistry, all our analytical tools, we have not been able to reliably reproduce what one self-taught man made by hand on his kitchen table. Not a Roman engineer, not a medieval blacksmith. A hairdresser? Lost not because the centuries erased it, but because one man decided the secret was safer with him than with the world. So here's the uncomfortable thought. We assume knowledge is permanent now, that we write everything down, scan everything, back everything up. But knowledge is only as durable as the choice to share it, and the luck of someone remembering to. Roman concrete waited 2,000 years for us to catch up. Damascus steel might be missing an ingredient the planet no longer offers. Greek fire was buried by secrecy, and starlight proves it can still happen. Today, what are we forgetting right now without even noticing? If this made your brain itch, there's a whole rabbit hole in this next video. Go fall in. And subscribe to Curio, because curiosity is the one thing we should never let get lost.